This latest information goes out to the people who are invested in certain products with the Standard Chartered Bank. From the area video where we did an analysis that finally Bank of Uganda has finally approved the Absa Bank Uganda to buy the wealth and retail business of Standard Chartered Bank Uganda. One of the left out questions was what's going to happen to the so many people who are been investing in different products with Standard Chartered Bank Uganda. Now I'm going to break them down product by product and what's going to happen and the assessment of it given of the few information that I've gotten. But before I go there, I made in the area video, I made an assessment that realistically Absa Bank Uganda is going to acquire an equivalent of at least 2 trillion UGX in total assets and deposits from Standard Chartered Bank that relates to the retail arm of business, the wealth and retail arm of business. Since then, I've got new updated information that total equivalent asset that will be transferred from Standard Chartered Bank to Absa Uganda is around 1.3 trillion UGX. So if we look at 1.3 trillion UGX, you add on to what Absa equivalent of 7 trillion, Absa might not overtake Centenary Bank. Actually, depending on how Centenary Bank will grow its total assets, but they will be toe-to-toe. Remember, Stanbic Bank is leading with 11.6 trillion in total assets. Centenary Bank comes there in a close second, 8.6 trillion. This is as of December 31st, 2025. Then, so if Centenary Bank is at 8.6 trillion, that means with Absa's current 7 trillion plus 1.3 trillion they are going to acquire from Standard Chartered because of the transfer of their retail and wealth business, it will come to around 8.3. Now, depending also on how they perform in 2026, it will be, but the chances of them overtaking Centenary Bank then reduces. So then Absa will just take on the comfortable position number 3 in as the third biggest commercial bank in Uganda. Now back to the investment products. Let's start with the Standard Chartered Shilingi account. Many people, especially clientele who have been banking with Standard Chartered Bank, they have been investing in the money market fund that is called the Standard Chartered Shilling account. We all know Standard Chartered Bank as the institution does not have a fund manager license. Actually, the Standard Chartered Shilling account is a product that is marketed by Standard Chartered Bank but managed as part of the Sanlam Investments East Africa Unit Trust, Sanlam Alliance Income Fund. So that product is part of the wealth arm of Standard Chartered Bank. Remember, what Absa Bank is acquiring the assets and everything of the wealth and retail business. So starting with Standard Chartered Shilling account, for every single person that has been invested in a Standard Chartered Shilling account, those assets of yours are safe. They are managed by Sanlam Alliance Investments Limited. If your account where they have been deducting, where you put your standing orders every single month, they have been deducting off money and being invested in the Shilling account, which in the back end is the Sanlam Alliance Income Fund, that will continue. Why? Because the fund manager and the actual product for which your assets are invested in is still there. That's not changing, because the Standard Chartered Shilling account has been part of their wealth side of business, which Absa Bank Uganda Limited is acquiring. So that automatically will remain as is. It will go your account, which when you get your new account in Absa Uganda, or potentially retaining the exact same digits in Absa Uganda. We are yet to know the integration of data, how it will be, if the clients from Standard Chartered will be given new bank accounts, or Absa, or they will just integrate the existing accounts within their system framework. We are yet to see, we are yet to get all the details. But when they move you to Absa Bank Uganda, that seamless transaction, that monthly contribution to your Shilling account will stay. Now, I do not know if the name will be changed, if Absa Bank will expand on it. I know Absa Bank Uganda Limited has recently got its custodian license. How will it be? We are yet to know. But at least for you as an investor, you know that product there is going to remain as is. And that is a good thing. So that's one. Two, I talked a little bit about the people for Treasury bonds. Treasury bonds, let me repeat this. When you open up a bank account with any commercial bank, that bank is just your settlement bank. A settlement bank means when you buy Treasury bonds, your actual asset, which becomes the Treasury bond, is actually stored. The custody of that Treasury bond is in the CSD system that is held at Bank of Uganda. This bank, your commercial bank, its job is, it's part of you cannot, all of us can't go to Bank of Uganda. So this bank is one which helps you to reach Bank of Uganda. That's one. Two, the bank account you have in a commercial bank, that exact account, it's where you register it as part of a direct linkage to CSD. That way, when they are settling your obligations, whether you are paying for the bond you are purchasing or you are getting paid for a coupon, that's the bank account they put the money on, or they deduct the money off. So for the people who have been investing in Treasury bonds, your Treasury bonds, which is the actual asset, is in the CSD system that is Bank of Uganda. That is unaffected. What is going to change, and we don't know how it's going to be, but so far the information I've been given is, when your accounts are transferred to Absa Bank, that account is going to continue being your settlement account. The only difference that is going to be is, previously, your settlement bank would have been Standard Chartered Bank. Your settlement bank is going to now become Absa Bank Uganda. But everything else is going to remain the same. You'll buy the bonds you already, the Treasury bonds and the Treasury bills you already have will remain. They're not going to be changed. Everything as it is will be. When you are buying now new Treasury bonds, you will buy them through Absa Bank Uganda using your existing CSD number. That's not going to change. So that should give you the confidence that you are good to go. Do not panic. Do not worry. Don't sell your Treasury bonds and try to move them anywhere. Absa Bank Uganda is one of the primary dealers. It's an amazing bank. And when it comes to Treasury bonds, by the way, I personally, this is my personal opinion, I find Absa Bank much better than many banks. I'm not going to mention which other banks it's better than, because it's not an endorsement, but it's much better. So you might find the home, your new home, is worth it from an investment perspective in Treasury bonds. Then someone asked a question, what will happen to my loans that I've been having with the Standard Chartered Bank? Part of the regulatory approvals and the transition and of the assets and liabilities and deposits and everything from Standard Chartered Bank to Absa Bank Uganda, and in such transactions and mergers and acquisitions, part of the negotiations is to keep the memorandum, is to keep the terms and conditions of the existing contracts the same until when they must be negotiated, maybe. At least for the short to medium term, this is my opinion. From short to medium term, your terms will not change. I know a person who asked, will my loan, which I got at 17% from Standard Chartered Bank Uganda, will it remain the same? Absolutely. At least for the short to medium term. Now, there are chances, depending. This is my opinion. There are chances where maybe Absa Bank might look at, and it needs to renegotiate. They will engage you. They will not just change everything. They will communicate to you and you make an informed decision. But at least the understanding is most times such things do not change. Do not. And remember also, it's in the best interest of Absa Bank to retain you as a clientele. Some of the best clientele, loyal clientele, have been with Standard Chartered Bank Uganda. On one of my original videos, someone said they have been with Standard Chartered Bank since 1994. If I'm the bank which is acquiring such a clientele, I will do almost a seamless transition to make sure I do not lose them, at least not in the first 2 to 3 years. Because it's like transitioning from something they have loved so much. You want to keep them at bay. You cannot just change everything all of a sudden because people are not used to change. We do not love change that much. Very few of us are adaptable and are willing to change when circumstances provide us with changing environments. So what ends up happening is that such terms, your loans will remain the same. Your money, your deposits do not panic whatsoever. Your deposits will remain the same. They will move from Standard Chartered Bank to Absa Bank on the day they will communicate. We are yet to get all that full details when it will be the final transition from moving you and that data migration that will move you from Absa Bank, from Standard Chartered Bank to Absa Bank. Now, the last question, which is also, and it's because I'm still doing some research, but when I get all the information, Standard Chartered Bank has been one of the only, I think it's the only bank that has offshore fund investments for its clientele. From the preliminary information I've got and from the questions I've asked, those fall under the wealth arm of the business. They do not fall under the corporate business. They fall under the wealth arm of the business of Standard Chartered Bank Uganda. We know Absa Bank Uganda currently does not offer such a product. So we are yet to see. We know because they fall under the wealth arm of business, which Absa Bank Uganda is acquiring, they will be transitioned to Absa Bank Uganda. The question then is going to be, will Absa Bank Uganda retain that product? Because these are offshore investments. There are very few people who have them, especially those offshore dollar funds. They invest in them. They have been investing in them and they have been making some good, decent return on them. Will Absa Bank retain them? That I don't know. Absa Bank has not been offering them, but maybe this is also a chance for Absa Bank to try their waters into such a kind of a niche product, especially at a time when the investment horizon and the desire for better products and diverse products and people investing offshore is increasing. More and more people are picking up the pace to looking for where to invest. Some people don't want to just invest in Uganda alone, in Treasury bonds, in Sukuk bonds. The stock market in Uganda is limited. We have very, very few companies. So such a product can give Absa Bank a footing into the long-term clientele that are looking to invest and divest regionally and globally by investing in offshore funds that are outside Uganda. So the question, will they retain them? We are yet to know. I've sent a few inquiries to a few people in Absa to try to gauge what's happening. What should we know? What should we expect? What should the clients expect around that? As soon as I get some shareable information, I'll bring it here and share it with you. But from an investment perspective, that's what's going to happen in this transition. It's going to be one of those transitions, especially in this day and age of information. For the next 3 months, we're going to be paying attention. You expect that both banks are going to issue out statements, more detailed statements. They'll communicate to the clients, to the customers, what's going to happen. But be open. And this is my closing remarks. For the clients who are moving from Standard Chartered Bank to Absa Bank Uganda, be open. I'm a client for Absa Bank Uganda. It's an amazing bank. There are things I've appreciated. The services they offer, their digital first approach, from an investment perspective, their treasury team is one of the very best I've dealt with, and I deal with almost 20 banks almost in a week, depending on what transactions I'm doing, whether for me or for the clients. So I've found Absa Bank an amazing bank. So as you transition, have that openness. There's going to be so much. Do not rush to make that transition. and hopefully you will enjoy that transition in when you move from Standard Chartered Bank, which has been an amazing bank to you, and you're moving into Absa Bank Uganda.